Why do humans love violence? Think about it. You stayed up at 2 in the morning watching a true crime documentary you didn't even mean to start. You've seen millions of people pay just to watch two humans hit each other inside a cage. UFC, boxing, football, action movies with body counts that look like small-scale wars. We don't look away. We lean in. So the real question is, why? Why are we drawn to this? Are we secretly violent? Are we broken? Or is there something much older in the human brain, something ancient, that makes violence not just fascinating, but almost necessary? Let's talk about the psychology nobody really talks about. Your brain is ancient. I mean really ancient. The system in your head that lights up when you see a fight, that wiring is hundreds of thousands of years old. Long before civilization, long before crowds, long before entertainment. Back then, violence wasn't a storyline. It was survival. Predators, rival groups, food scarcity. If you didn't understand conflict, if you didn't pay attention, you didn't survive long enough to pass on anything. So evolution rewarded the people who paid attention. It wired threat awareness into us like a survival alarm. Knowing who won a fight wasn't gossip. It was information you needed to stay alive. Anthropologist Napoleon Chagnon spent years studying the Yanomamo in the Amazon. He reported that men who had killed in warfare had more wives and children than those who hadn't. The research is controversial, heavily debated, but it raised an uncomfortable question. In some societies, violence wasn't just tolerated, it was rewarded. We don't live in that world anymore, but your brain still does. Now let's look at the biology. When you watch a fight, even a staged one, your brain releases adrenaline, cortisol, and dopamine. Dopamine is the reward chemical, the "something important is happening" signal. Your amygdala, the threat detector, activates even when the danger is fake. Your heart rate rises. Your focus locks in. Your body reacts like the moment matters. And that intensity feels good. Not the violence, the arousal, the heightened state, the feeling of being deeply, fully alive. This is the same reason people love roller coasters, haunted houses, horror movies. Your brain can't always tell the difference between real danger and simulated danger. And simulated danger is the safest way to feel the intensity without the risk. Now let's talk dominance. Humans, like every social primate, organize themselves into hierarchies. And violence, or the threat of violence, has been the ultimate way of determining status for most of human history. Konrad Lorenz, an Austrian zoologist, wrote about this in the 1960s. He found that aggression in animals is rarely random. It's ritualized. It's a way to establish who leads, who follows, who gets resources, who mates. Humans aren't different. We just hide it better. When you watch a UFC fight, you're not just watching punches. You're watching a real-time battle for dominance. Someone rises, someone falls. And on a primal level, that matters to us. Albert Bandura proved in 1961 with the Bobo doll experiments that children imitate aggression they see modeled. If a child watches someone act violently, they're much more likely to repeat it. We don't just observe conflict, we learn from it, we internalize it. That instinct is everywhere today. Sports, video games, dramas, even online arguments. We still care about hierarchy, who's winning, who's losing, who stands at the top. And then there's obedience, one of the darkest parts of human psychology. In 1961, Stanley Milgram conducted his famous obedience experiment. People believed they were shocking another person for getting answers wrong. The actor screamed, begged them to stop, eventually went silent. But 65% of participants pushed the shock generator all the way to the maximum voltage, 450 volts, simply because a man in a lab coat told them to continue. Milgram's experiment wasn't about violence, it was about obedience. But it revealed something terrifying. Ordinary people, under the right conditions, are capable of delivering what they believe is extreme harm, if an authority figure says it's necessary. A decade later, Philip Zimbardo ran the Stanford prison experiment. College students split into guards and prisoners. Within days, the guards became abusive, the prisoners became submissive, and the experiment had to be shut down early. There's debate about how spontaneous that behavior truly was, but the message remains. The capacity for violence sits very close to the surface. Now let's talk about tribalism. For 99% of human history, we lived in small groups, 50 to 150 people. Your tribe was safety. Everyone outside your tribe was danger.
Today, your tribe is your country, your sports team, your political side, your identity group. And here's the uncomfortable part. Violence toward the outgroup doesn't feel like violence. It feels like justice, because your brain labels them as other, as threat. Thomas Hobbes wrote in the 1600s that human life in its natural state was solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. He saw violence not as an exception, but as the default. Archaeologist Lawrence Keeley found evidence of prehistoric warfare: skeletons with crushed skulls, mass graves, fortified settlements, showing that organized violence isn't new, it's ancient. So why do we love simulated violence, but fear real violence? One word: control. When you watch violence on a screen, you're safe. The chaos is contained. There are rules, a beginning and an end. You get the intensity, the emotional spike, the psychological arousal, without real consequences. Psychologist Dolph Zillman, who developed excitation transfer theory, found that arousal from one source, like a fight or horror scene, heightens your emotional response to whatever comes next. You're not drawn to the suffering, you're drawn to the intensity. Aristotle noticed the same thing 2,000 years ago. He said tragedy allowed people to experience catharsis, purging fear and pity through staged violence so they wouldn't carry it into real life. We haven't changed nearly as much as we think. Carl Jung said, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." Meaning, the violent impulse doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It grows. Nietzsche wrote, "Man is the cruelest animal, not because we're evil, but because we understand our power and we can rationalize it." Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." He led armies. He wrote about peace. Even the most thoughtful humans wrestled with their own shadow. So what's the truth? Why do humans love violence? Because we're wired for it. Because violence shaped our ancestors' world. Because intensity activates the deepest parts of our biology. Because hierarchy, dominance, tribal loyalty, these aren't glitches in the system, they are the system. But understanding this doesn't excuse violence. It helps you recognize it. It helps you understand the pull you feel when you watch conflict unfold. You're not broken for being fascinated by a fight. You're not a monster for watching true crime. You're human. And being human means carrying the capacity for incredible compassion and incredible violence. Both exist in you. Both exist in all of us. The real question isn't whether the instinct exists. It does. The real question is, what do you choose to do with it? When you watch the next fight, the next movie, the next late-night documentary, pause for just a moment and ask yourself, why does this pull me in? Not to judge yourself, just to understand yourself. The shadow is always there. The only question is whether you're willing to look at it.